and today we're going to talk about something really fun. We're going to talk about portion control. I'm going to give you some hacks of what I like to do for portion control in different situations and for meal prepping, just making it a little bit easier. You don't have to be doing a competition or a tournament. Just in general, if you're trying to live a healthier life, if you're trying to understand portion sizes, then this is something great for you to kind of know to see how it works for you. So I'm going to give you what tips and hacks I use that really help me. So I'm going to dive right in and get to talking about them. So first things first, I definitely want to recommend that I think that everybody should always have two essential things in their kitchen: a scale, a nutritional scale, and measuring cups. What I have is a Taylor brand, literally like from Target. It's really simple. I lost the manual to it, so it actually is something really cool feature about it. They have like a little keys over here that have like calorie, sodium, fiber, protein, carbs, and in the handout, the booklet, I was able to type in like a number. Say bananas was like 63921. I would type that number in, press enter, and then press like sodium, fiber, whatever, and as I would weigh it, and it would say 4 ounces of banana is 23 carbs, exactly when I pressed the carb button. But of course I lost the pamphlet, so I do the basics on this scale, and I just put it on there and I measure it, weigh it. This was crucial when I did my bodybuilding competition because I really need to weigh everything down to the ounce. So absolutely recommend this. And I got my handy dandy, literally I could not live without these. I use these every single day, and these are just my collapsible like silicone measuring cups. This is my 1 cup, got my half cup, my 1/3 cup, and my 4th cup. Now, I love these, and these are great for portion size as well. So that's just a little aside that I recommend. If you don't have these already, go get them. Pause this video, go get them, come back, we'll talk. A few quick tips I just wanted to talk about in this video are things that I think that we have the biggest trouble with portion size for, and I wanted to give you hacks to kind of help control those. So what I mean when I say that is, so for instance, vegetables, I don't care what you eat them in. If you want to eat them in this, go right freaking ahead, because I would love if everybody ate vegetables that much. But that's not the case for most Americans, and they usually don't have that many vegetables per day, and I mean, let alone probably not even per week. So that's shooting for the stars a little bit too soon. So things I think that we have troubles with as far as portion size are these calorically dense foods that we're not really aware of, such as nuts. So generally 1 ounce of nuts is a serving. And you know as well as anybody that when we have nuts, we're not just measuring out an ounce, we're eating, you know, a huge bowl mixed with, whether it's trail mix with dried fruit, and all these add so many calories and fat and sugar that can really, even though you're thinking you're doing something good and eating healthy trail mix, can really hinder your goals, because essentially weight gain or weight loss is a matter of how much calories you're eating. And even if it's healthy foods, too much is not going to help you lose weight. So what I like to do is I always use my nutrition scale, but now that I know what it looks like in my head, I don't have to do it every time, but it's something to do at first until you get the muscle memory and kind of eyeball things and know. So usually when I measure this out, I'll put this on, I'll zero it, and I'll put the nuts in. So nuts usually come up to about here is 1 ounce. So I know now that whenever I have a small little container like this, I can just fill up nuts, like when I'm sitting on the couch, sit up like this and eat, and I know I'm eating a serving of nuts and I won't be going over. And it's just an accurate way of me knowing portion size. And generally for me, it's at least one handful. When I do that and drop it in, it's usually right up to there. So that's like how it works for me. But that's why I wanted to kind of mention that, because this little Rubbermaid small container is something that might be beneficial, because then you can eyeball it and use those kind of calorically dense foods as a way to kind of keep those portion sizes under control. Another thing that I like to use is a medium-sized small cup, such as this. This like China, it's microwave and oven safe, which I didn't know that, but now I do. So what I would use a container like this for would be those delicacies that we all love, like ice cream or chips such as Stacy's pita chips. So these are really high in salt. These aren't something like to have every day, but if you do want some chips of some sort or pretzel thins or something like that, generally, so for this is 9 chips. The pretzel thins I think are about 11 pretzels. So that would fit in a container like this. So generally I'll just kind of put a small handful in, and I don't measure it out like exactly because I'm not that anal. The only time I would actually ever do that is, like I said, a bodybuilding competition, or if I'm really trying to watch my weight to lose weight on purpose. But if I'm just trying to live a healthy lifestyle and I just want to like enjoy certain foods but know that I'm not overindulging in them, then I'll just use containers like this to know that I still can have whatever I want, but I'm just using a small, sensible portion size. So I'm not completely going overboard. Because I do have an all or nothing kind of mentality, so things like this really help. So if you feel that you have the same kind of mentality, this might be a trick that might be good for you. And ice cream as well, because a general serving of ice cream is about a ½ cup. So if you put like a little bit of scoops in this, and then you maybe, you top it with some pumpkin seeds or some whatever, then, coconut shreds. And that's a little nice snack that you can enjoy, and you don't have to eat the whole container of ice cream, which is 20 servings, and completely destroy your diet, your weight loss goals, and your health long term. So this will be something that is definitely something good to invest in, a small bowl and glass like this. And the other 2 things I wanted to talk about is just plates. So it's really simple. Like I'm showing you guys, all the things I have here, they're nothing crazy. It's nothing that like, oh man, I have to go out and buy this and spend this much money. It's literally stuff you already have in your kitchen most likely, but I'm just making it aware to you and just making you aware that you can use these as tricks and tools to keep you under control. So the next 2 things I have is a small plate and a large plate. Now, when would I use both of these? So if I'm trying to lose weight or watch my calories or anything like that, I would use a small plate. And the reason behind this is because I always grew up eating everything off your plate, no leftovers. So if you're trying to lose weight and you grab a plate like this and you were raised with the same idea of no leftovers, you're not going to lose weight because you are consuming way too much calorie and food. If you translate that to a smaller plate, just because of science, look at all that space. All of that space that you're not putting food on, that is a reduction in calories, a reduction in the quantity of food, and you're naturally going to lose weight because of over time, reduced calories, reduced amount of food is going to lead to weight loss. So using smaller plates is a great way to try to get your goals a little bit faster. And another thing too, when you're having a balanced meal, 50% of your plate is always going to be those leafy green veggies or anything that are lower in calorie, excluding corn, carrots, green peas. They all are a little bit on the starchier side, so you want to stick to those greener leafy vegetables that will give those micronutrients to you. So that's 50%. A quarter is going to be your healthy complex carbohydrate, and then over here is going to be your protein, whatever that may be. If you're vegan, tempeh, tofu, TVP. If you're a meat eater, you got your chicken, fish, anything like that. You want to avoid fried food because that's going to add those fat calories, add the total calories as well. But this small plate is a good example of that. So I like to use that when I am trying to cut weight for a competition, because the reason why this works so well, and there's studies behind it, is because our minds need to be tricked. We need to trick our minds into thinking that we're getting enough food even if we're giving it less calories in food. So when our mind sees a completely full plate, it's like, oh great, I'm getting food and it's so much food because it's covering the entire plate. But your mind can't really tell the difference, in other words, of the big plate versus the small plate. You'll feel satisfied because you feel like you're getting enough food, even though technically you're literally getting less food. But because the plate appears like it's completely full, your mind is satisfied and you won't have that extra craving that you didn't feel like you ate enough, which is one of our biggest problems because we always feel deprived. Portion control works two ways, you know, so if you are trying to lose weight, like I said, all those other tips are great. Also, if you're trying to gain mass, obviously you still want to stick to those whole foods as much as possible. The more processed foods in your diet will lead to not just muscle mass, but also fat mass, which we don't want. So that's when a larger plate would come in handy. So I'm still using healthy foods. I'm just doubling the quantity or increasing the quantity to reach my goals, which is to gain mass because I'm adding calories. So a bigger plate would be something that would be useful and beneficial for that. So these are just like little hacks that I have that I've used because I don't always try to track my macros, track my calories. Like I try to just intuitively eat. But if I am trying to lose weight, if I am trying to gain weight, these are things that I do that I don't necessarily have to track every single calorie for. But I know that if I generally eat off a small plate and I'm trying to gain mass, if I move to a larger plate and fill it with the exact same amount of food to cover the plate, because of science and math, I'm already going to be consuming extra calories. And over time, over a week, 2 weeks, that will add up and you'll see results. So that's kind of those tricks I have, just kind of like to stay in portion size, and those foods that tend to be high in calories or your cheat foods or your comfort foods, that's what I would stick to, those smaller kind of plates and bowls and containers and things like that, because it'll still allow you to have those foods that you love, like I said, except they're just going to be a little bit more controlled. And that's all we want, because like I always preach to you guys, moderation is key. As long as you're using moderation, you can have any food. You can have any food, especially if all you want to do is live a healthy lifestyle and you don't have like specific goals to do a competition where you need to look a certain way or anything like that. If you just want to live healthy, you still want to enjoy the foods, you don't want to make it so difficult for your lifestyle, you know, then this is just simple hacks you can use to just try and do that. So that was the point of this video. I hope you guys learned a little something. I hope this helped you. This helps me all the time. This is stuff I use on a daily basis, so it's not just me pulling it out of my ass. I literally use this stuff and I put my words behind it because I believe this stuff works. So if you have any questions, comment below. Like this video, give it a thumbs up. Remember, real wealth is whole health. See you in the next video, guys. Peace out.